Where else should planning and zoning focus on it for the master plan process?
Yeah, I think that some of what happens on Route 7 is incorporated into the village center plan, but I think we've really got to get our act together and think about Route 7, sort of top to bottom as it goes through town, and really have a better idea of what we are trying to accomplish. Okay, and I think that could be done. Everyone talks about the bucolic and beauty of Wilton, which I agree if you're driving through the residential areas of Wilton. But if you ask me if I thought, Route 7 in Wilton is a work of art or beauty, which power substation or storage facility do you want me to talk about? I think it would be great to have I'm a little blunt in case you haven't. But I think that having an overall set of plans for Route 7 would really, really help the town establish itself as something that is people would look forward to. The second thing is I think that we need better understanding of infrastructure. Okay, Wilton is a combination of paid and volunteer infrastructure. Some of it works really, really well. I happen to be fortunate to serve the town on the pension investment committee. We are way overfunded in our town pension because there are enough investment professionals on the committee that I think it makes sound decisions. There are other things that work well. But I'm a little dismayed when we get into suddenly whether or not the ambulance service is funded properly and can have a building becomes controversial in a town. I mean, this is just so short-sighted to me that I think the town needs to address these things in a different way. And then the third part of it is I'm just looking for I mean, I'm on planning and zoning. I'm looking for leadership from the selectmen. I don't really understand how many of these things that have become huge issues in the town to people that can manage well have even become issues. It just strikes me as, almost ostrich-like that any of these could become issues. I mean, this town faces a $200 million plus infrastructure deficit. I mean, that's twice the town budget. And so, how does a little town in Connecticut that's a good place to live and things like that accumulate a $200 million budget deficit and no one knows about? And lastly, I think this is really a strategic issue, is the town owns and manages certain properties. I think it would be important to have very open discussion and disclosures that are put in front of the public of what are those properties? What rents does the town receive from those properties? How long were those leases put in place for? Is that the best utilization for that property in the town, or are there other things that we really should be doing? Now, currently there is discussion for us selling some properties in the world famous hope that you can sell off assets and close the deficit, which is always interesting when people are trying to close operating deficits by selling assets. But I think that that's not the discussion I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see some transparency about the properties that are owned in town and what we get from them and those kinds of things. Instead, what we have is crisis management, whether that's looking at, the farm or other kinds of things where issues become controversial for no reason and things like that. And we get distracted by that. And again, we don't have broad discussions in the town. So that's what I would love to see happen.